Now it's time for Corner Table, our exclusive theater review segment. It features legendary critic John Simon and relative newcomer Justin Brown. Simon has written on theater for several decades, including 35 years at New York Magazine. He's also been published in the New York Times, the Washington Post, and more. Brown reviews shows, and he's also an actor and director. And tonight, they're looking at Angels in America Part 2, Perestroika.
Hello, Corner Table friends. We are back. Hey, John.
Hi.
So today we're going to be finishing our discussion on Angels in America, and now we're focusing on Part 2, which is Perestroika. Nathan Lane and Andrew Garfield are the big stars of the production, directed by Marianne Elliott. So let's get right into it. Perestroika is incredibly different from Millennium Approaches, in my very humble opinion. Down to the way it's written, to the way that it is now put together in this production. How did you feel about getting to see these two back to back, as opposed to the original production, which was several years after the first part of Millennium Approaches?
Yeah, I think one should see both parts on the same day. Eugene O'Neill did that, and why shouldn't Tony Kushner do it too? But I think 7 hours, when you think of it, is a bit much. And it almost necessarily involves certain details that are beside the point. I don't particularly like the Joe character.
Who was played by Lee Pace.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that he's so tall and that his wife is so short. Somehow that doesn't create the feeling of a couple on stage. But again, the main problem still is Nathan Lane, a very good actor, a very good comic actor. I don't know that he manages to be as sinister as he ought to be.
Do you feel like there's a growth, though, between the first part and the second part? Because I feel like he was a little more menacing and disturbing in Perestroika than he is in Millennium Approaches.
Well, I didn't feel that. If anything, I feel the opposite. I felt he had more chance to be not humorous, but was humorous nevertheless.
I do want to touch on something really astounding about this production, and its use of puppetry, light, and magic. The angel originally comes down from the ceiling. You witness it all happen. It's a really beautiful, magnificent moment. However, the way that Kushner writes Angels in America is for that moment to not be so beautiful, for it to feel very kind of community theater, everything's falling apart, you can see the wires situation. What was so astounding about this production is this angel, the wings aren't attached, they're puppets, basically, and she falls into the ground, and it's like she has to be like put back together. It's like bubbling oil, it's like crude oil. And I think what's so exciting about Marianne Elliott's direction is the minimalism behind both parts creates this kind of space for people to really witness such imagistic things solely based off of an actor's body and space, which is really exciting and very different. And I think that what this production does that I haven't really seen other people do with Angels in America is be unafraid to be dirty and gross and unappealing and unattractive in terms of the things that should be pretty and attractive. I loved the comedy of it too.
Well, what's the advantage of making things that ought to be pretty and attractive unpretty?
Well, I mean, it's Brechtian juxtaposition. If we sit here and we constantly promote a specific kind of image, or we give someone something expected, there's nothing exciting there. Brechtian juxtaposition creates this thing where you as an audience member are kind of uncomfortable to the point of intellectualizing something and really digesting it in a different way.
Well, the problem is that since we don't know what angels really look like, anything, you can do anything with them. But the tendency to de-romanticize is perhaps exaggerated in this production. That seems to me too much of a
Right,
good
I
thing.
think there are some flaws to the way Perestroika is written. However, what I will say is that this production is astounding. I think it's breathtaking. I think it's beautiful. I also think it's like gross to look at the same time. I think that it is probably the best play I've seen this season so far.
Well, that's not saying an awful lot, is it?
Well, in your humble opinion. So yeah, I would say check it out. John, would you agree?
Yeah, sure.
I would tell everybody, if you have the chance, see it back to back if you can, and really, I mean, take it in. It's a really fabulous and wonderful, incredible piece. Thank you guys so much.
That's all the time we have for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a fantastic Memorial Day weekend. We'll see you right back here Monday night for our Vietnam special. Until then, have a great weekend.